Welcome to TechNation.
Funny, but sometimes mentally unstable.
So welcome everyone to another episode of the TechNation show. This is the second episode in our FPV drone series. With me again I have Nils, and we're going to go into detail about different parts of the drone or the quadcopter. Sorry, because last time we learned that it's actually a quadcopter and not a drone. So today we're going to talk frames.
Yes.
So let's talk frames, which are frame or chassis, right?
Exactly, the chassis. Hi James.
Hi.
So the frames are very important for the quadcopters. They go very fast. You will probably hit a wall at some point, or a tree that is walking, or
simply slam it into the ground.
Exactly. And they need to withstand shocks, very important ones, and a lot of G's are happening also.
Okay, so let's start from materials. What are the, let's say, normal materials that these frames are made of? For example, here I'm seeing carbon fiber, right?
Yes, we use special carbon fiber, usually aerospace grades, and you can see the straights here, the layers. Mostly we use carbon fiber.
Okay, so can you make a frame or you buy a ready-made one?
You can design your own frame, you can mill it from carbon sheets, or you can also buy them.
Now, we have seen, Nils, a lot of 3D printed frames. Are they any good for FPV racing?
Yes, actually they are. So we were skeptical at the beginning, we were using only carbon, but then we found some new material that we can 3D print with, and we have some plastic mixed with carbon, even mixed with Kevlar, and those are starting to be fashionable.
So as the very foundation of what you will build your drone on, Nils, should you spare any cost on this? Are there ways to spare cost on this, or you shouldn't even think about sparing cost on this part?
It's better to put the cost that it requires.
All right.
You can start with a basic frame. It's not very expensive, as in $20.
Okay.
And the most expensive frames like this, the Alien, it costs about $100. As it's the core of the quadcopter, and the quadcopter will hit a lot of obstacles at some point, it's better to have it very sturdy.
Okay, so basically we're talking a range from 20 euros all the way to 100 euros for like the best of the best.
Exactly.
So it's not like the bulk of the price of the drone is not in the frame, obviously.
No, not at all.
Okay. So what we're seeing right now is actually CONRAD VASSALLO'S plan for designing your own frame. These can be also downloaded, and as usual, all the description for all the items that we mentioned will be in the description box below the video. So, Nils, you were saying, even we were discussing in the last video, in the first video of this series, that the number of the drone, so for example an Alien 250, or correct me if I'm saying
225.
something, 225, is the position, is the length of the motors, right?
It's the distance.
The distance
of the two motors in diagonal.
So the frame will, so the number denotes the frame.
Yes.
Okay.
Last year it was very fashionable to have a 250 frame, so it's in between those two.
Okay.
This is a Vortex. This is a 285. It's pretty big by today's standards. This one is an Alien. It's 225. And we are going smaller and smaller. This is a Shrike. This is a 185.
Okay. Is there an advantage being smaller than actually being larger, the frame?
Yes, very big advantage. As we're talking FPV racing, we are putting the same powertrain here as here. This weighs half of this one, so the power to weight ratio goes way beyond.
So although the frame does not constitute the majority of the cost, it does constitute the majority of the weight.
Of the weight and also of the aerodynamics of the quadcopter.
So Nils, apart from the obvious, I mean, when you apart from considering cost, what other considerations you have to make before deciding on a frame?
So mostly on the propellers that you will use.
Why do the propellers make an impact on the frame?
We use here in those quadcopters 5-inch propellers.
Okay.
Those are the most common right now in the FPV racing. And if you look closely here on the Alien, the propellers almost touch and almost touch the frame.
Okay, so basically the propellers, you have to consider the propellers because just for clearance. Whereas
Exactly.
they have no place to turn.
This
basically,
one,
to
the
spin.
Shrike here, is the smallest frame we can get to keep on using the 5-inch propellers.
Okay, so this actually takes 5-inch propellers as well.
Oh yeah.
So basically what you were saying, it's just a matter of size restrictions, that the propellers have enough space to actually spin.
Exactly.
So this is the smallest frame that you can run whilst keeping the 5-inch blades.
Yes.
Why would we want to keep the 5-inch blades?
It's convenient, and most of the races that we have today in the FPV racing world, we are in the 5-inch class.
When you say the FPV racing world, I mean, is there there are races nowadays? I mean, there are big prizes as well.
There are a lot of big prizes. This year we have like almost 2 million prizes in races around the world, which is a lot.
I've seen something in Dubai. We were mentioning it last time as well.
Yes, $1 million.
Okay, and actually that's someone wins $1 million for racing a drone around the track.
Almost. So you have different events. You have the FPV racing, so the race itself. This was $250,000 for the first. And then you have the acrobatic competition where you can show your agility and moves. This was also consequent.
So till now we said that the considerations for the frame is obviously cost, size, the smaller the better if you run, and you need to consider your diameter of the blade,
propellers.
of the propellers. Is there anything else which you have to consider before you actually make a decision on a frame?
Of course. So the smaller you get, the more technical it gets to build a quadcopter. A build like the Shrike here, it's very difficult. I mean, we have a lot of more room here on the Vortex to put all the components together. Remember, you have the flight controller, the video transmission device, the ESCs.
Nils, I would like to take this opportunity that if you haven't seen the first episode in this series, I would highly recommend that you actually see it.
Watch it.
Because you watch the first episode because we give details about the anatomy, and actually we have our friend Jesmond with us that puts one together, and you can just click on the link which you're seeing right now on screen. So we were saying that yes, when you have more space, obviously
it's easier to build.
It's easier to build. When you get down to these kind of sizes, you have to cram all those electronics, obviously, in a smaller footprint.
And that's when it gets tricky.
Okay. So today we discussed the first step of building your own FPV drone. We talked about the chassis, the frame, the foundation of your build. We talked about the considerations, Nils, that you have to make, materials, sizes, propeller sizes. Please join us next time for the next episode in the series where we talk about the powertrain, as we call it, the battery, the ESCs and the motors and propeller combos. Thank you for joining us again. Thanks.
Thank you,
Nils. Thank you very much. There as well.
That's mostly true.
Cut. Oggi ho sciata. Ho sciata alert.